Hi, my name is Hayleigh Sinclair, and I'm Martin Luther King High School's Model United Nations president from the year 25-26. If you're watching this, maybe you're on your way to your first Model United Nations conference. Maybe you're a returner needing a quick refresher. I'm going to be going over from start to finish what a Model United Nations conference will look like. 1. Before a committee, you need to prepare. There are many things that you need to do to prepare, but my recommendation is to create a folder. In this folder, you'll want your printed speech. Print everything out. You'll never know if you'll get to use your laptop in committee. Normally, you're not going to be able to. And even though you have this speech memorized, you're going to want it in that folder to look at right before you go up when the nerve's at an all-time high. 2, have some extra statistics in that folder. These statistics can be brought out during an argument when you want to be smarter, during a moderated caucus, which we'll talk about later, when you're making a tiny speech in front of the whole class. In that folder, you'll also want sticky notes for passing throughout committee while other people are talking. You don't want to disrupt their speech. Talking during speeches will lower your judge's thought about you. So using sticky notes is a great way to interact with everyone else in committee and connect with them. Maybe if after they give a good speech, write down, hey, I really agree with this solution in your speech. You should meet me during a unmoderated caucus, which we'll also talk about. 2 is attire. Model United Nations conferences require a strict dress code of Western business attire. Now, this is just like general business clothes, basically. Guys wear suits, girls wear pantsuits, skirts, blouses, things like that. Girls have more freedom. If you just look at business attire, Western business attire, it should just show up with suggestions. 3, on the day of the conference. We will meet as a team before the conference starts 30 to 40 minutes early on the competition site. Before opening ceremonies, we will be talking about information that is crucial for the conference and how the schedule will go for the day. So it is very important that you are on time for this meeting. Before you go to this meeting, don't forget to bring a bag. And in this bag, you need to have your pre-planned folder, your computer, and water. Don't forget water. Your computer, it can be a school computer, but I recommend it being a personal laptop if you have access to one, because the school will restrict certain things that you may need in the committee, such as documents, websites for statistics, things like that. And be sure to charge it the night before. After we've met and it's about to be the conference's start, we'll be going into opening ceremonies. Opening ceremonies is normally held in the high school gym we're competing at. Unless it's a larger conference, it'll be held in a larger room. And in these opening ceremonies, the people running the conference are going to step up on stage. They're going to thank everyone for coming, yap a bunch. No one's paying attention. They're focused on the competition that's about to happen. But at the very end of opening ceremonies, they're going to release us to our committees. Now, when they release us, they're just going to call the name of our committee, UN committee. So UNHRC, this way. World Health Organization, this way. And it'll be our chairs and judges leading us to the rooms where we need to be dismissed into. When we're separated from the team and you enter the room, you're going to notice a regular-sized classroom. Normally, it's always going to be just a generic classroom unless you get to an advanced competition where the rooms are larger and they're conference rooms. They're all going to have the desks pointing towards the front of the classroom where you will give your speeches. Now, this is when you will choose your seat. Choose your seat carefully. Try not to sit in an aisle or the very front row. The prime seating will be in the second row towards either the left or the right side, not in an aisle. This is not that crucial, but it is something that will help you get called on more during the conference when you raise your placard. And I'll talk about how you're about to get your placard right now. As soon as you get sat down, that's when roll call will begin. During roll call, they'll go in alphabetical order in all the countries in the committee and call your country's name. when they call your country's name, you will get up from your seat, grab your placard and name tag, and sit back down. Your placard is like a plaque that'll sit on your desk and claim your spot, but as well as identify who you are. Your name tag will go on your person, so when you're not in your seat, they can tell who you are. This placard you will also raise during competition for your name to get called on and added to lists, such as speakers list, when to speak, presenting questions. You raise your plaque and they will call your country. During committee, you are this country. You are now the delegate of Canada, the delegate of the United States, the delegate of Chile. And that's how you will be referred to. And that's how you should refer to others. Now, during roll call, when they call your country's name, you also will have another job to say present or present and voting. Now, these things aren't that crucial. Present, it just means that you're allowed to abstain in the final voting on resolution papers. Present and voting means you must vote. Even if you don't like what's in the document but don't want to hurt any feelings, you still must vote no. Or you must vote yes. You can't abstain. It doesn't really affect grading all that much. It's just about personal preference. Someone will motion to open the speakers list. The person who motions will then go first and be the first speaker on the speakers list. But the motion will look something like this. I motion to open a speakers list, set speaking time to 2 minutes. Other people may motion for other times, typically between 1 minute and 3 minutes long. And all the motions will be voted on by the entire committee on the exact time that they want. Then speakers will give their speeches. You won't get through the whole list though before they stop and ask for motions. And this is where the flow is really dependent on you, the competitors, because you can do two things in this situation. You can motion for an unmoderated caucus or a moderated caucus. Some people will call these consultations, but that doesn't really matter. First, an unmoderated caucus or consultation. Those are what most likely is about to go first. So it'll go something like this. I motion for a 10-minute unmoderated caucus. And we'll vote on it. If it passes, we're now in a 10-minute unmoderated caucus. Basically, what this means is everyone's going to be standing up, walking around, and talking to other delegates. You're talking about your solutions and how you plan on combating this issue. Maybe certain areas in this issue which you feel are the most important. You'll form groups with similar solutions of yours in the goal of creating resolution papers, which I'll talk about later on. But in this group, you really want to make sure that you want to lead a group, but also not be too overpowering. What else could happen is a moderated caucus. This is different than an unmoderated caucus. You're not standing up, but it's more of a mini speech. It has definitely more structure. How someone will go in setting that up is saying, I motion for a 5-minute moderated caucus, 30-second speaking time on education. Motioning for this has simple 3 parts. The first part is the total time, 5 minutes. The second part is 30 seconds, the amount of time each speaker will get. So for this, there'll only be a total of 10 speakers because it's a 5-minute speaking total, 30 seconds each person. And the topic is education. So if the whole committee was about world hunger, it would be about how education affects world hunger, about how education can solve world hunger, things of that nature. And for 30 seconds, each delegate would get to speak on it. The person that motions will get to choose if they want to go first or last on this speakers list. And everyone else will be chosen by raising your placard, which is why seating in a good spot is so important. Now, going back to what I was talking about earlier about resolution papers. These are the main documents that you're going to be working on the entire conference. They're not that big and ambitious, and they're quite easy to understand once you get it. It's split into 3 main parts. The top is sponsors and signatories. Sponsors, that's you. You are a sponsor. You are creating this document. Signatories, they're people that have read your document and just sign on. They agree with it. They're saying that they're gonna vote on it. Like, they agree with the ideas in it. Now, they don't have to vote on it, but by signing it, it says that they agree with the ideas in it. 2 is the preamble. The preamble are just clauses stating your mission. They're not much substance, but in general, just being like using these NGOs. We plan to combat hunger. Things like that, emphasizing the use of education. More info is on the Google Classroom if you have more questions. And then lastly is your main solutions in the main clauses. This is the biggest part of your thing. You want to make sure that you have your solutions implemented into your resolution document. Lastly is the actual clauses. This is the big meat of resolution docs. It's your solutions, everyone else's solutions. You want to make sure that your solutions are on this paper so you can advocate for yourself later on when it's time to present these papers. Now, this is how committee's going to go for the rest of the time. You're going to switch between finishing the speakers list, doing unmoderated caucuses and moderated caucuses. Feel free to motion these. And if you're not sure how to, you can always ask the chair or use this as a guideline. Now that you've gone back from lunch, done many mods, unmods, and finish your resolution documents, you finally get towards the end of the conference. This is when the presentation of resolution documents happen. So during presentations, it's quite simple. 1/3 of your group will be able to go up and present. Now, these presenters are either presenters or Q&A answers. Those who present just talk about what their resolution is about, and those in Q&A are just answering questions that other delegates are asking. They'll target certain clauses that you want to be able to defend. And on vice versa, the other end, other people will be presenting and you want to ask questions that target those hard-hitting areas inside of their resolution document that aren't strong, showing that you really listened to the presenters in asking this question. Now, even if they give you a response or ask you a question back, you are not able to respond to them. You can ask something that's more rhetorical that they don't really get an answer to, and they can't ask for clarifying questions. It's more of a statement on your part. And after everyone's asked their questions and the presentations are done, it's time to vote. A vote passes with majority and the resolution will pass. It doesn't really matter if all papers pass, no papers pass, everyone passes but yours. What matters about scoring is what happened in the committee. And in general, voting is more everyone passes most of the time. And then at the very end of the committee, final stretch, there's only 4 speeches left. These are short 30-second speeches. It's like a moderated caucus, but it's just set in stone. 2 speakers will speak for ending the committee, 2 will speak against it. Of course, it's a total formality and the committee will always end because it's time to go home. But 2 people will always argue about why they should end, be like, oh, we did a great job. 2 people will argue, nah, like we need to do more. And then the committee ends. And that's it. We'll go to an awards ceremony and see people who got awards, get important feedback from the chairs, and go about our day. At the end of the day, you'll have a lot of good experiences from Model United Nations, and hopefully this will help you prepare for your next conference.